You're listening to the Sound Creator Podcast, the show that brings you deep diving analysis and conversations covering my world of field recordings, sound design, and sound effects. I'm Cedric Black, your host. Thank you for being you. Thank you for showing up. And most of all, thank you for listening. Welcome to the show. We're back at you again with another episode of the Sound Creator Podcast. Today is, for me, today is a really dreadful day. Well, it's a great day because every day is a blessing. But I just know that where I am, it's hot outside. It's going to get hotter, and I have to go out today and mow my lawn. It's great exercise, but it's never my favorite thing to do. It's not one of my favorite things to do that I really enjoy. I don't have a green thumb per se, but it's part of the package of having your home, having a house. I'm grateful to have a place to live, as we all are thankful nowadays, but it's just not one of my favorite things to do. That's my gripe for today, if you want to call it a gripe. So welcome to a new episode. And this week is, just like every other week, I bring you into my world of sound design, things that I do, and the sounds that I create, and share some of the backstory and a few details of some of the sounds that I've created for sound design and sound effects for media projects. So thank you for showing up again this week. And as always, I'm excited to share this with everyone. I thought that if you can remember a few, I don't know, I'm not sure how many episodes back, but it was a few episodes back where I discussed the tornadoes here where I live in Arkansas. So one of the hardest hit areas was a park that I frequent, and in that park there's a lot of forestry, trees. There's a lot of brooks or creeks, a lot of running water, not really lakes, but just small streams of water. And I thought that I always had in my mind that there was going to be a place that I was going to do a lot of underwater recordings, capture a lot of underwater soundscapes, but due to the tornado, it's been shut down. So there's no access to that right now. So what I'll probably end up doing is going to another city, probably just I'll do some research and go to another city. And I mean, here in the state, there are several parks around because that's the state. This is the natural state, Arkansas. So there are several parks in other towns that could that I'll have access to, lakes or creeks or something of that nature. I was just really looking forward to that park because it's close to where I live and I don't have to travel as much. Hopefully that will be in upcoming episodes. I'm sure that I will include some underwater soundscapes to those that have not really heard it. It would be interesting. But I know we've all heard it because we've all watched movies where there's been underwater sounds. We've all watched movies where there's like a shark that's chasing a swimmer, and the sound that you get underwater. So it's captured with an underwater microphone. But that's something that we'll discuss when that episode comes about. But this episode is sort of a mystery. The sound is a mystery. I didn't include it in the description or the title of this episode. I didn't really alert you to what it was because I just wanted to play the sound. I wanted you to hear the sound first without any leading information of what it is. It's a little bit more interesting to me, I think, than to tell you what the sound is, then play it, and then you already know what it is, or then you may already have a formed opinion about it. But this way, you have to make up your mind about what it is, and you may even try to figure it out, or you may even know what it is by listening to it. It's not really a difficult sound, and like I always try to do for the episodes, I'll try to keep it simple. I'll try to use, or I always plan to use something simple and create something big from the sound, or something different from a simple sound. So this week is no different. This episode is the same as every other episode. I'm using something simple, and it's really simple. Just like the previous episode, it was really simple. This week is really simple. So let's get to it. I'll play the sound and come back and we'll discuss it. Hopefully you heard the change about halfway through the sound. It starts off, there's a morphing, and that was purposely done. It morphed into, it started out with a simple sound and it morphed into a whole new sound. So before we talk about that, what it is, and I used this in a previous episode. It's an ink pen, and it's just a regular ink pen, nothing special, just an ink pen, and I'm just twisting it around my desk, one of my work tables. I'll just slide it across my work table. That's it. And I just captured it, I think this is another episode where I just use something simple as my cell phone. I have many microphones that I can use, but ever since I received that email about what to use, someone asked me about how, what equipment they needed. This is another episode of me proving once again that all you need is something simple like a cell phone, and you can do so much with that. So all I did was just use my cell phone, and I recorded that sound, and that's what it is. But if you notice the way that it morphed into another sound, now that's something different. If the first part of that sound, and I'll play the sound again the way I always do. The first part of that sound is just a simple ink pen sliding across the table. But as it morphs, if you noticed when you listen to it this time, maybe pay attention to the way that the sound gets a little bit more deeper, a little bit more fatter, bigger. So what that is it's the same sound. It's the ink pen, it's the same sound, and I just duplicated the sound and I lowered the pitch and combined those two together, and I added a little bit of reverb, and I combined it with another sound, I have some sounds of some wood scraping, some scraping or dragging across canvas, something that I recorded a while back. So I just combined that together and just sort of mixed it up a little bit. So you still hear the original sound, the bass of that sound is still there, but when I add the other elements into it, it creates a whole different sound. It's a bigger sound. And yeah, I know that it's probably noisy, but that's okay. Some sounds are noisy, some sounds are quiet, but that's just this sound has to be noisy for what it is. It's scraping. It's something scraping, and it's meant to be a noisy sound. So that's something I purposely chose to do that just for that example, for that purpose. So as you see, the sound gets bigger, and there's a lot that you can do when you lower the pitch of a sound. It makes the sound bigger. Combining both sounds, because you can use one sound, but I can always do more with that one sound. If I wanted to, I could have duplicated that sound 15 times and changed the pitch various ways, and we'll have even more variation in the sound, just still using that same one sound. So it's still the same sound. It's still that one simple sound, but it's the variation that was created when I added different elements and manipulated that sound in a different way. That's it. Just an ink pen scraping across the table. Next week, who knows? I may do the same thing, but may not. But it's really simple. I created something simple. It may be time to get a little bit more complex, create a little bit more of a complex sound to bring to the show and talk about that. That may be interesting to get a little deeper into more complex, detailed sound that I create. But that's a simple sound, and I'll play it again before we exit out of the show. Here we go. It almost sounds like something's being stomped on to me. I can hear the first part of that sound. It sounds like something is being written. You can maybe sound like something's being scribbled on the canvas in some way, but as it morphs, I hear a difference. I hear a little bit of shaky rattling noise that's mixed up in there. But it's still there. That's the original sound. The bass sound is still there. So that's it for this week. I hope that, I was able to share something that made sense this week as far as using something simple. And who knows, one episode I may use something simple as a finger snap or a hand clap. Can't get much simpler than that. So thanks for showing up, and I will see you on the next episode. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and you would like to help support the podcast, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and a review. To catch all the latest from me, you can follow me on Instagram @saidblack or via my website at cedricblack.com. Thanks again, and I will see you next time.